Here we are, back in this sacred little space, and I think it's the perfect size because no one else seems to be coming, and we've got just the right amount of chairs. So, Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Christmas.
Leslie and I have created a wonderful meditative ceremony, candle lighting ceremony. And this will be an opportunity for you to just close your eyes during the service, listen to the music, and get carried away and tune in to what's really real, what's really important to you. Thank you so much. So, excuse the logistical stuff that's happening here. And I'd like to welcome anyone that's new. We've got a little gift for you. You can see us afterwards for that. And welcome each of you into this holy space, into this sacred time that you have obviously deemed as an important time for you to check out of your regular day, your regular life, and come together to honor yourself and your spiritual path. So welcome into this space, and why don't we take a couple of moments just to say good morning. I know you've been chatting away in here already. Maybe there's someone you haven't said good morning to yet. Or namaste, or high fives.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Michael.
Thank you for coming out on this beautiful holiday weekend to be with us. That song says so much, welcome home. We're glad that you're here. It wouldn't be the same without you. Just a few announcements. A week from today, we're going to have service back over, as we always do, at the YCC. Thank you for finding your way here this morning. Hopefully the signs worked. I think I heard that they did work, so that's good. And then also next Sunday evening at 6 p.m. we're going to be having the Burning Bowl. That'll be like a 1-hour service where we kind of go deep into setting intention for the year and kind of letting go of all that we're not really interested in carrying forward with us. And so do plan to come see us. That will be held at the United Church of Christ, which is at 3350 Harrison Boulevard. If the weather's bad, if there's snow there's a driveway that comes in from the west, and there's kind of a steep hill that climbs up into that parking lot. You can actually go around and come in the backside of the parking lot. And so I think that's 30...
I think it's 34.
34th, well, it would have to be 34th Street. So if you went up 34th Street and just made a left at the 1st Street, then you come in the backside of the parking lot. And if you have 4-wheel drive or whatever, just go for it. But bologna skins on two-wheel and front-wheel drivers, I mean, have fun on that third driveway.
Snowshoe.
Bologna skins,
Oh, we love it.
I've had those before. Also, special day Thursday evening, January the 11th, we're going to be from 6 to 9. If you've been joining us for, within the last 6 months, we invite you for a discovery class here at the center. It'll be in this very room from 6 to 9 in the evening. It's going to be wonderfully informative. We're going to have the opportunity to find out more about you. You're going to have the opportunity to find out more about us, and it's just going to be a beautiful evening. And so do plan for that. Practical spirituality classes are going to begin the 3rd week of January. Please see me afterwards if you would like to know more about that. There's in the conference room In the mansion, we have information out on the table as well as coffee and refreshments in the cafe. We'll see you after service. And as always, the prayer box. You can submit prayer requests to us two ways. Either in our prayer box, we have a chain of practitioners and ministers that work on those with you throughout the week, as well as you can always jump online, go to the satyacenter.org, submit a prayer request, and that comes to us through our hotline. And so that'll immediately activate a powerful prayer chain into action. And I'll be a practitioner today after service, and so if anybody would like a miracle moment to have a prayerful moment with me, I'll be available for that. Thank you. What are we doing here? Yes, oh, that would be my meditative thought. Thank you. So I have a reading today that I'd like to share with you. And it comes out of the Science of Mind magazine, which we do sell here in the carriage house. And it's from actually one of our teachers, Terry Cole. Ellie and I joined with Terry Cole several years ago. She's in her 80s. She had a mega church in the 60s. She was on TV. She's a very powerful, beautiful, divine, awakened being, and she teaches many. And so we joined her program, Lifetime Mastery Program, years ago, and she's always in the Science of Mind magazine. And she says the greatest gift you can receive is the gift that you give yourself. The gift of the self back to the self. Take back your compassion. Take back your generosity. Take back your strength, intuition, and creative abilities. Take back all your divine, eternal powers, qualities, and abilities that are already included within each of us as spirit souls. There is no evolution for us because we are whole, complete, and perfect sparks of the divine. However, there is devolution, the forgetting of who we are as these emanations of the Supreme Being and possessing all that our soul is and has. We are also able to receive from our divine reservoir all that is needed in each moment. For some, this seems too good to be true, so they fall for lies that proclaim that they are only this temporary physical body, running after morsels to gratify the senses until we die. And I would like to just begin service with a prayer. So if you would join with me and close your eyes. Just come into an awareness of that which Jesus, the Master Christ, brought to us in his teaching, that I and the Father are one, and that you too shall do greater things. And so as we come into this space at this moment, I just invite you to open up your heart to that inner truth, that innermost on the high, that one divine, powerful presence that is everywhere, in and throughout all life. It is life itself, the very essence, the divine spark, the infinite, the everlasting. And so as we come into that place of gnosis, that place of awareness, we speak of a blessing, knowing that we are it. We are the essence. And as we begin to serve one another and we support one another, we realize that the prayer and the answer are one. And that all is good. And because God is good and it is whole and it is complete, it must be good, whole, and complete. And so for our time, our holiday season, realizing of the blessing becomes real when we realize it, when we allow it to be. And then we give back to one another. I give thanks for you being here. I give thanks for the Satya Center for Spiritual Living and messages coming forward through Leslie and Hallie, and the Inspire choir, the voice. I know that that ripples out into time and makes a difference. Raises up vibration. So thanks. And if you just heard me say. And
So it is.
So there's a lot of talk around this time of year, especially in New Thought centers or Science of Mind, within the Science of Mind teachings, about awakening, waking up, being born again. There's a lot of talk about Christ consciousness. And if you look in the back of the Science of Mind textbook, which is a book that many of us study here at the Satya Center, there's a whole section on the teachings of Jesus. And although we don't talk about Jesus any more than we talk about the Buddha or Lord Krishna or any other enlightened being or spiritual teacher, this time of year, especially tonight, a lot of people in this culture, on this continent, are gathering together to light candles for that baby, Jesus. Well, today I'm going to talk about lighting candles for our own awakening. Jesus said, "Greater things ye shall do. The kingdom of heaven is within." And so it's that birthing the light within ourselves. Michael read that article. Did I see that? From Terry Paul Whitaker. And it goes on to say, each new moment is an opportunity to set our desired reality in motion. Instead of believing any fear, guilt, or poverty-based thoughts, regardless of who is broadcasting these types of concepts. And in our culture, we've been so programmed to believe everything, been conditioned since our birth, to believe that we're something. People have tried to help us define who we are according to scriptures, according to beliefs. And maybe we learned some things that kept us identified with a concept of who we are, but not identified with our real self, our true self. This is the beauty and gift of a new life, instantly. Why drag all the baggage we've been carrying, as if all the stories and such are who we are, when these are just our narratives, but not truly us? Start fresh in every moment of now. Why live in the future of a dream or the past of what was and is gone when all is possible right now? Cast off the layers of ignorance that have obscured our divine vision and knowingness of who we are and our unlimited abilities. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Live so others may live." Cast aside all cruel actions towards yourself and others, including all animals, and live eternally immersed in the pleasure of your soul. The real joy is in the giving. So we're here to give. We're here to give ourselves, give of ourselves, to give our gift and our divine light. And I find it really interesting. This teacher, Terry Cole Whitaker, that's featured in this magazine, as Michael said, she had a big body of work in the LA area for years and years. And now in her 80s, she is a devotee of Krishna and lives in the mountains of Mount Shasta. And so she's still embraced and included in the Science of Mind magazine because she has a life's experience of being in tune with who she really is, her Christed self. You know, Christ wasn't Jesus' last name. It was something that he awoke to. And that Christ consciousness is what I believe all masters and sages, all of those beings that have created ancient texts, or ancient texts have been written about them, all those beings have had an awareness of who they really are. And so their teachings continue to be read today because there was a truth with a capital T. They had a consciousness, an awareness about life and why it is the way it is. And true identity that it has lasted the test of time. So, Leslie's agreed to play some music with me as I light these candles today. And so this is going to be an inner journey. And so I'd like you to get comfortable and really think for yourself. Because you can hear you can hear me speak or anyone else speak about what this Christ consciousness is, but really it means nothing unless you truly experience it for yourself. So that's the intention here today, is that you have an experience of being awake to a dimension of yourself that is beyond this physical, beyond your identity as a mother, a father, sister, brother, son, daughter, boss, student, whatever labels that you may give yourself or that have been placed upon you from the outside. It's exploring yourself beyond that. A deeper connection with life, with reality, and with oneness. His Holiness the Dalai Lama said, "The only temple that matters can be found within yourself." And the whole purpose of the Satya Center, our curricula that we offer, the 4 years of training to become a spiritual living practitioner, is about supporting people in waking up to who they are, to their divine gifts. And we're each unique, individualized manifestations of this one life, made in this wonderful human form for now, here to tune in to our purpose so that we can give back, give to the whole, and be of a beneficial presence. Jesus prayed that all might come to see the unity of life, that they may be one, even as we are one, was his prayer as he neared the completion of his great work. The prayer that enabled those closest to him to understand the unity of spirit in which man clearly recognizes his oneness with his Creator and with all creation. All mystics have sensed that we live in one life. It says in the Bible, "In him we live, move, and have our being." It's not in a hymn, a small hymn. It's in the genderless, expansive, infinite intelligence that we have our being. I light this candle in honor of life, this one happening, this now moment, in honor of our time together here on Christmas Eve. To everybody that is gathering today in churches, mosques, synagogues, and halls, and on sacred holy grounds around the world. Part of this waking up to who we really are, this Christ itself, is about honoring each other, honoring all life. You hear us say here at the Satya Center and maybe at yoga classes and namaste. People put their hands in a prayerful pose and gently bow. Namaste translates from Sanskrit to mean the divinity in me bows or honors the divinity in you. This is a sacred teaching. Yes, it's a salutation that is used across the India, and maybe other other areas. I don't know. But it is a spiritual teaching. It's a deep spiritual teaching. And when we truly ponder what that means to honor each other, it moves us from this little egoic mind that has a lot of opinions and judgments and criticisms and comparisons and all of that, to a place of just truly honoring, being respectful of the way that individual shows up in the world. Awake or asleep, we don't know, and it's really not ours to judge. But here in our culture, we've been conditioned to judge, to label, to compare, to critique. We have whole industries that are built around gossip. And it seems to be just normal, every day. But it's not. In this namaste energy, we honor each other and we listen. Maybe we start to pay attention to that egoic voice inside our heads that has the habit of criticizing or judging. But we just simply ask it to be quiet. As we tune into our heart, our essence, and truly honor the God essence that is within the other. So namaste. The divinity in me honors the divinity in you and all beings. In honor and respect for each other, in honor of being present to the beloved Satya community and the needs and wants and desires and prayers of everyone here today. Each of us have desires and longings to be, have, to do, and each of us, we spent time getting to know one another on a deeper level and knowing what are our heart's desires. Mainstream religions have taught us that it's not spiritual to want, to need, to desire. And I'm saying that's just BS. A belief system. What were you thinking? So I have some affirmations, and if you align with these, just gently close your eyes and repeat them on the inside or the outside. I honor everybody here today.
I honor everybody here today.
I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
I know who you really are.
I know who you really are.
We are the presence of light and love.
We are the presence of light and love.
Your prayers, dreams, and desires
Your prayers, dreams, and desires
are important to me and to the world.
Are important to me and to the world.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Anything you pray for, fearless in your way. I am here to listen to anything you need to say. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too.
Your prayer is my prayer too. So on our awakening journey, as we start to understand that we're all connected, we're all a part of this one life, this one happening, we begin to naturally become more mindful and respecting of others and life in general. And it's important on this path to spend time in the quiet. Seems like a lot of those that have taken this journey, this inner journey, and woken up to who they really are, they seem to desire time alone, time away from the hubbub, time in nature. We hear of monks going into the caves to spend time, silence, tuning in to that inner voice, that God. And so, why do we do this? Why is it important to be quiet, to get away from our normal life, develop a meditation practice? It's important because we begin to hear that voice inside us, that divine voice that is broadcasting within each of us. But in our culture, we haven't been taught to listen on the inside. We've been taught to listen to everyone on the outside. Our whole structure, our whole system, our schools support this notion that we get guidance from the outside. And I'm saying it's both and. We get guidance from our elders, those we respect and look up to, and we get guidance from inside. Because we are in the process of evolving. Each of us, we're evolving this thing called life. We're evolving this thing called God through us. And so if we're always listening to the outside, we're missing a lot of that deep, rich guidance that is occurring on the inside. And that's why so many of the ancient traditions put an emphasis on meditation. Not so much here in the West, though. And gratitude that all open us up to infinite intelligence and having a closer walk with the divine, with God, as God. When we take time to be present in this holy now moment, we put ourselves in position or make ourselves available to experience grace, a movement of consciousness, a movement in consciousness that awakens us and ignites our sacred love light, the God within, to guide us and show us the way to live in a more grateful, mindful, joyful, and holy way, in a state of grace. So I have some affirmations. Closing the outer eye. I spend time each day connecting with God within me.
I spend time each day connecting with God within me.
I honor my communion with Spirit.
I honor my communion with Spirit.
I open myself and surrender to the divine.
I open myself and surrender to the divine.
I feel our sacred love and live in a state of grace.
I feel our sacred love and live in a state of grace.
Sacred love, sacred love, it's all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love, is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are.
Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. So we spend time listening, we spend time in meditation, listening to that still small voice, listening for guidance on how to bring more love and joy into this world. Which leads me to the next step on this path, which is knowing ourselves. Having a deep, intimate, personal relationship with ourselves. Doing a lot of self-discovery. Exploring who we are. Who am I? Is a question that many meditate on this journey to awakening. Who am I? And what would I love? What would I love my life to be? Who would I like to be? If I'm not it already, if the outside me doesn't match up with who I'm beginning to wake up to as me on the inside, this love, this joy, this light, if my outside, what I do in the world, isn't really jiving with who I'm feeling I am on the inside, then this awakening path is about changing some of those structures that we've got in place. So it's about loving ourselves. And again, we're not really taught to love ourselves. We're taught that that's selfish. That life isn't about you. It's about giving. It's about giving to ourselves first. And so what is it that you love? We know how to do this as children. We know how to tune in to what we love. And we love to do what we love to do. But then over the years, that's kind of conditioned out of us. And we start to do what we're told to do, or what we think is the right thing to do. So my question is, who are you, and what would you love your life to be? That's the gift you're here to give. I'm here to give. Leslie's doing it beautifully with all of her music. She knows what she loves to do, and she's sharing it with the world. Wow. What if everyone was doing that? What if everyone was tuned in to their God-given talents and abilities? Those talents and abilities and gifts that serve humanity, that serve the evolution of life in the most holy way. What if everyone was doing this? It could look very different for you than it does for Leslie or me. It could be accounting. It could be working with the youth. It could be travel agents. I don't know. There's something within you that is seeking expression. That's your life's work. That's why you're here. To develop self-love to the degree that you're generous with yourself, with your gifts. And it doesn't feel like a burden when you give in that way. It feels so good to give the things that you love. Imagine if that burden was lifted from humanity and everyone had that lightness around doing what they love to do and giving and sharing. I light the fourth candle to honor the heart, your heart, my heart. Self-love and being in tune with what we really want to bring into the world. Your sacred gifts. my sacred gifts, our sacred gifts. I will share this love. So the affirmations. I show up as my sacred, authentic self.
I show up as my sacred, authentic self.
I share what I love to do with the world.
I share what I love to do with the world.
In love and gratitude, I give and I am given.
In love and gratitude, I give and I am given.
I circulate love.
I circulate love.
So sacred,
So sacred,
so secret,
so secret,
so precious is my love.
so precious is my love.
So sacred, so secret, so precious is love. So sacred, so secret, sing along. So precious is love. So sacred, so secret, so precious is love. So sacred, so secret, so precious is love. I will share, sing along. I will share, I will share, I will share, I will share, I will share this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious this love. I will share, 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 I will share this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious this love.
Take a deep inhale, breathing in love, and exhaling love. So another step on this awakening journey is understanding the power of your mind. Understanding that you have an invisible power. The power of your thought. It's creative. Thought has created everything we know. Think about it. Everything starts with a thought. The painting that's been painted, the chair that's been made, the institutions that have been formed. It all comes from people thinking. This current experience that we're having here on planet Earth, the wars, the unrest, the joys, beauty, all of it has been created by humanity. We're living in a reflection of thoughts. So that's the good news and the bad news. Because we can't control everybody's thinking, but we're all subject to experience the collective. So, what can we do? Can we do from our little corner of the playground? We can think the thoughts that we want to think, knowing that our thoughts are creative. So the question is, what do you want to create? That's your job, to create that. And you do it one thought at a time. So are your thoughts polluting the environment? Or are your thoughts enhancing the environment? Because we live in a world of cause and effect. And you are the thinker that thinks the thoughts that creates your life. And if we have a tendency to give more attention to those things that we don't like, and have negative opinions and judgments about that, we just create, through the power, our creative power, we create more of that. So the challenge then is to up-level our thinking and think high-quality thoughts, knowing that every thought creates. I like to think of it as above-the-line thinking or below-the-line thinking. And quite often I'm dipped down. I'm down there, thinking thoughts that I don't like. And then I remember, and then I'm like, paddling up for that horizon. That's why these affirmations, that's why the positive music, that's why we come here every Sunday to be reminded, because in this current human condition, we seem to be in a forgetfulness state. We seem to have the habit of forgetting that we're powerful creators and that every thought creates. So we need to be reminded. All of us. So if you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, I'm looking at all those books on the back of the door. There's a lot of good books back there that have the kinds of thoughts in them that uplift, that empower. So my last candle for our awakening journey into this Christ consciousness The fifth candle is in honor of the creative process and the power of our thoughts and the receptivity of the law. What does that mean? We're surrounded by a thinking substance that takes up the impress of our thoughts and then reflects them back to us. So, we have a power, we work with this universal substance, this law, this divine intelligence. And in our individualization of that, with our free will, we work with this intelligence, these laws, this creative process. We activate the creative process every time we think. So we're doing that all the time. So we're co-creators. That's why you see that bumper sticker that we have here. Co-create, not coexist. Some people think it says coexist. Some people have even bought that sticker thinking it says coexist, and it doesn't. It says co-create. And coexist, to me, sounds like
Tolerate.
we'll tolerate you. You stay over there and I'll stay over here and we'll kind of exist. Co-create says let's do something together to create something beautiful. That's what we're doing here. So, we have one more song to share with you. And I want you to really tune into these words. As you know now, you already knew this, that you are a co-creator. And you're using your invisible power of your imagination, your thoughts, to create something beautiful. So we're affirming that with this chant. I am light. Oh, I've got affirmations for you, excuse me. Okay, closing the eyes. I have a creative power within me.
I have a creative power within me.
My thoughts are creative.
My thoughts are creative.
And I choose them wisely.
And I choose them wisely.
I think thoughts that align with my soul's desires.
I think thoughts that align with my soul's desires.
I am the mind of God knowing.
I am the mind of God knowing.
I am the heart of God loving.
I am the heart of God loving.
I am the hands of God serving.
I am the hands of God serving.
I am awake to my spiritual brilliance.
I am awake to my spiritual brilliance.
Sing with me.
I am light, I am light. 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 I am light, I am light.
I am the mind of God knowing.
I am light, I am light.
I am the heart of God loving.
I am light, I am light.
I am the hands of God serving.
I am light, I am light.
I am awake to my spiritual brilliance. 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 I am light, I am light. 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 I am light.
So let's turn within and close with a prayer. As we tune in to that light, that wisdom, that infinite intelligence within each of us. As we tune in to the realization that there's only one thing happening. It's this thing called life, this thing called love. Each of us, individualized expressions of the divine. And as we tune in, as we bring our awareness and give this awareness attention, that light within us burns brightly. Our light is enhanced through the recognition of it. So I speak a blessing on each of us today, that each of us awaken to our spiritual brilliance, that we tune in to honor each other on our path, to support each other, to take time to listen to each other's wants and needs and desires, and to take time to share our own wants, needs, and desires, to show up in an open and vulnerable way so that we can be seen for who we really are, our authentic self, so that as we awaken to this authentic self and share our gifts, that they are truly seen, that they're received, and we truly see and receive others and their gifts. That we take time each day for meditation. Take time on that meditation cushion, communing with the depth of our being, infinite possibilities and potentialities that exist within us when we open our hearts and we ask, how can I serve? How can I show up as the most authentic me? And then we listen. And as we start to develop a deep relationship, an intimate and personal relationship with ourselves, we begin to fan that flame of authenticity. So I know this journey of awakening, of coming home to ourselves. And as we do this, we understand why we're here. It's simple, it's easy. We're here to be us. I'm here to be me, you're here to be you. And to give your most sacred gift, your love. So I know that as we wake up to this, as we remember this, as we share this, as we come into alignment with who we truly are, we awaken. And as we awaken, we give others permission to do the same. So I give thanks for today, for each one of us here today, creating something special here together, knowing that the thoughts that we've shared today, music, the activation of energies that has happened, that's occurred in this room today because of these rememberings, that we are creating a ripple of love and light and healing for all humanity. So may this light go forth from this room in luminous waves, touching the very heart and soul of all sentient beings, all life. So I give thanks for this holy day, these holy days that are celebrated throughout this season in all cultures, and the gifts that are received this season. And so it is. So it's time for our gifts and our offerings. We are a center that circulates love through the donations that we receive. We also pass on out into the community, supporting others that are doing good work. So if you will, join me in saying this blessing of the offering as you hold your offering, and know that you're communing with the divine. You're activating this law of circulation, and you're putting yourself in the flow of generosity right now. Joyfully I give gratitude, for I know that as I give, I am given. I allow the abundant nature of the universe to flow through me now. I am so blessed, and so it is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So let's stand up and take hands. No, don't make a circle. We don't have the room for it. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So I receive this, the Satya Center receives these gifts, these offerings, knowing that it may look like dollars and cents in here, but it's really your love. This is really your energy that you're sharing with this community, with this body of work, with these teachings, and with this community and with our youth. They didn't show up today, by the way. They're all there baking cookies or eating.
I got them going. They're writing their letters. Yeah.
So we receive this gift, knowing that it goes forth to bless. It goes forth and multiplies. So I know that something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It's this thing called love light.
It is this thing called love light.
Love light is in my mind.
Love light is in my mind.
Love light is in my
Heart.
And love light is in all of my affairs.
And love light is in all my affairs.
I know this.
I know this.
I feel this.
I feel this.
And I am this.
And I am this.
And you know what?
Life is good.